G'day ladies and gents, and welcome back to War Thunder with Mags, and welcome back to War Thunder Ground Forces. Today we're going to have a little bit of fun in one of my favourite low-level tanks. This is the Rank 2 Battle Rating 2 M22 Locust. This light tank has virtually no armour to speak of. 25 mils at the front at its sickest point, 12 to the sides and rear, 25 all around the turret, and is armed with a 37mm M6 cannon with 50 shots and a 7.62mm machine gun. Now, while a 37mm cannon isn't particularly large, at battle rating 2 this gun is absolutely lethal, and the Locust itself has a few other things going for it which makes it dangerous even in higher tier battles beyond its standard battle rating. Most notable of these advantages is its incredibly small size. At 7.4 tons with a 3-man crew, it is a tiny little tank that is incredibly hard to hit. It's also extremely nimble, extremely high traverse on the ground, and at 7.4 tons with a 192 horsepower engine, it will get around, according to the stat card, at 56 kilometers an hour, but in truth it'll break 60 going downhill and can maintain around 40 on virtually any terrain. So, start of the match. This is a battle rating 3 match, which is a maximum up tier for the Locust. Not that it matters, but I'll go into that in just a moment. And we've rushed down from the spawn point to take the A-cap as quickly as we possibly can. And this is important for two reasons. One, taking the A-cap obviously denies it to the enemy team and starts capping points, contributing to the win condition. But the second reason is, well, this is my second tank deployment option. I have another tank in my lineup. However, because I've deployed the Locust, I don't have enough points to put it in the battle should something go wrong. Taking the A point early on earns me enough points to be able to deploy that second tank should something go horribly bad. So with the A-cap secure, I now have enough spawn points to deploy that second vehicle, so I can freely start working the flanks of the enemy team, and should somebody manage to take me out, I can easily deploy my main tank and get straight back into the battle. So, the Locust. As I said, it doesn't really matter what tier this thing gets put into, because it is a one-hit kill for anything that you can potentially face. The armour on the Locust is so low that there are 50 caliber machine guns that can penetrate it without too much of an issue at all, and any form of cannon will definitely go straight through this armour. On top of that, while it does have 3 crew members, they sit virtually on top of one another inside of the tank. This means any penetration of the crew compartment is likely going to kill at least 2 of them, taking the tank out due to crew death. Defense simply doesn't come into play with the Locust. You have none. You cannot afford to take a hit at all. Any shots that penetrate the tank, if they don't kill you in one hit, are extremely lucky, and you'll see one of those in this battle. The Locust is all about mobility. Once you've taken a cap point in the Locust, the best thing to do is to try and get on the enemy's flanks, using that speed and mobility to get around behind them as they're advancing on the cap points, in their attempt to either take a couple or to challenge the ones that your team has already taken. From this position, not only can you shoot into the rear of the tanks that are challenging the caps themselves, but you can also intercept the reinforcements that are coming out of the cap zone. So we're now progressing up the road behind the A point on the enemy's side towards their cap circle. Now we're not going to go into the cap circle itself, we're going to stay on the road just to the north of that. We're not looking to try and spawn kill people here, we're looking to just intercept the tanks that are coming down the road. And here's our first target, it's a Marder 3, it fires, it lands just on our drive wheel at the rear, does no damage. We use our small size to hide behind the rocks and put one between the gap in the rocks that disables the Marder 3's gun. Now that thing is easily capable of one hit killing us, but with that gun down, we're good for about the next 15 seconds. Get a hit into the tracks for no real damage, pull around the side, and we're going to go for the ammo rack. And boom, there we go. So the Marder 3 is now eliminated. That is our first kill, and a tank that will not be providing fire support for the A-cap. Now the turret traverse on the Locust is not fantastic, but the hull traverse is great. So the best bet is to try and angle the turret as much as you can to get your gun on target, and then just twist your hull in order to line up the shots quickly. Now I'm going to take the right hand road at this point, because this will get me onto the flanks of the enemy tanks challenging the B point at the moment, where there is a fight going on, and also put me between the B point and the spawn point, allowing me to potentially intercept any reinforcements that are coming through on this road. And sure enough, just between the rocks, I've already got my eyes on one. That is a Panzer 3J. So we get up around its side, shot through, fired a little bit further forward than I would have liked. Second shot goes through, however, and disables the crew member, disables the gun, disables the turret. Another shot through, penetrates the engine, lights it on fire, and we now get around the rear. Now at this range, I haven't quite depressed the gun enough, so when I fire here, I actually ricochet off the engine deck, so into the back of the turret. And there is our execution, second tank down. So with 2 kills up on the enemy's flank, the enemy team most certainly knows that I'm up here at this point. It's still possible for me to get some surprise attacks on, but they will be aware and they will be looking for me, which will make things a bit harder. And we're also losing the B-cap, so I'm going to head down towards the B-cap now and see if I can provide some fire support for what's going on through there. Now, I take a hit there. I wasn't initially sure whether the shot came from my left or from the rear, and I was assuming it was from the rear, and as I look back I can see the silhouette of a tank. Now, thankfully I got really lucky here, and the shell only impacted the back of the tank and damaged the radiator. It didn't actually cause anything that was going to impede my combat effectiveness. So we climb the hill. Now this is one of the things that will slow a Locust down. Why it is very light and very fast, it doesn't like to go uphill. The engine's just not torquey enough. Avoid going up hills in a combat situation unless absolutely necessary as much as possible. It really slows you up. Now I'm looking to try and get a glimpse over the top of this hill, and that is a Gepard. So, I'm not going to go straight over this hill and try and attack him. He will rip me to pieces. So position myself here so as he comes over, I'm lower than he can depress the gun. First shot in to disable the gun. Back it up, second shot into the side of the tank once I get the gun lined up. This is not a fully skilled crew, by the way. Set him on fire and put another shot in just for good measure, and he explodes. So there's the third kill taken out. And what do you know, we have another tank on the hill moving down towards the B point. Unfortunately, he knows I'm here. One shot into the side, unfortunately didn't do anywhere near as much damage as I was hoping. One through the bottom plate that disables the tank. Kills the driver so it can't move. And somebody finishes the job. So there's a kill assist as well. So time to get over this hill and change location. The enemy team knows that I'm here. The Locust is more than fast enough to no longer be here, so let's head over to the far side of the map and see what damage we can do up behind the C point. Now, I can afford this free roam to C without too much of an issue at this point. As you can see, the rest of the team that was attacking B has now secured B and is moving their way through. In hindsight, I should have turned around and gone back for A. There was nobody over there, and that is where the enemy team chose to attack. But at this point, I'm sort of committed. By the time I turned myself back around and got back in that direction, I wouldn't be able to prevent the cap. And there are tanks that are closer that are going to go through the middle section of the map in order to get to A straight away. So best sweep C first, make sure there's nothing threatening the C cap, and then head towards A if it's still necessary to do so. Now this is actually a fairly dangerous point because there aren't any tanks besides me on this side of the map. So not only do I need to keep aware of anything that is going on in front of me, potential targets that are pushing on the C cap, but I also need to watch my own six and make sure nobody runs up behind me, because a direct hit to the Locust from the rear is pretty much guaranteed to take me out. And the A cap has been lost, and there we go. Hostile German half-track has absolutely no idea that I'm here. First shot straight through the back, into the engine, lights it on fire. We put a second shot through the back of the turret. Make sure he can't bring that gun back around. We fire a third shot, which is pretty much unneeded, takes out the remaining crew members, and the tank is eliminated. Well, I call it a tank, but no, it's not. It's a half-track. And at this point, the team is streaming towards A. The only tanks remaining on the enemy team are in A, and I happen to be sitting on the opposite side of the map, and the enemy team is still losing 2 bases to 1. This match ends before I manage to cross the map from one side to the other, unfortunately, so that was the last of my combat. So, let's go through to the results. So, the results for the match. First place for the team with 4 kills, 1 assist, and 1 base capture. No tank losses. Rewards were Tank Rescuer, Shadow Strike Streak X2, Rank Does Not Matter, 1 Shot X2, Bulletproof, Heavy Metal Fury in a Locust, and on hand. 13,525 Silver Lions, and we only came in with a measly 449 research points because Rank 2 tank researching a Rank 5 vehicle. We did, however, make 1,161 modification research points, but that goes into the ether as my Locust is spaded, and that was without a premium account. So, this match was a lot of fun to play and wasn't a bad result overall. And as you can see, the M22 is fantastic fun when you keep it up to speed, get it around on the enemy's flanks and start chewing them out. At its battle rating, it would be easily the best tank in the US line, and, well, while its maximum battle rating is 3, I will regularly take this thing into battle rating 5, battle rating 6 matches. I've even been known to put this as a reserve tank in my lineups when I'm driving out the M103. In higher battle rating matches, the small size and mobility of this tank can slip in and out of cap circles, taking them from right underneath the enemy's nose, and it can actually be quite hilarious when you're facing some of the larger tanks in the game, things like the King Tiger. If you happen to close range on one of those and get right up next to its track, the Locust is so small that the King Tiger cannot depress its gun enough to actually shoot you. So outside of asking a mate for help, there is nothing it can do to actually stop you. Meanwhile, at that range, your 37mm actually has enough penetration to get through the sides and rear armour of a King Tiger, so it can be surprisingly effective. Anyways, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and until next time, good luck if you do, subscribe if you want to see more, drive smart, drive safe, and I will catch you on the battlefield.